4 o'clock in the afternoon. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Before, you see, we landed in Normandy, then we took off. We were heading for St. Lo, heading toward Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got through St. Lo, then we went into Paris with not too much trouble.
Paris, romantic and charming.
So then, did you go to Paris?
Huh?
Did you get to
We
Paris?
were the first guys in Paris. Patton was supposed to take that either. Told Patton not to take that. He took it. You couldn't tell. Patton got more trouble. They told Patton not to take Paris, but he was going to never let Montgomery take Paris. No. So he took Paris. And you want to see when we got to Paris, you want to see something. There were so many people on that road and stuff, and women and stuff, handing booze and stuff. I was riding in the Jeep with the lieutenant, because I always rode the Jeep. They were hugging this old, had this rebel back. He was kissing all them girls going down the road. So, we worked with the infantry and the heavy equipment tanks. Like with Patton. We were with Patton all the time. Through Africa and Sicily.
You were with General Patton all the time?
All through Africa and Sicily. Then he become the 3rd, Army big shot, 4 stars.
So when he got...
He was a good man. I loved him.
Did you have a chance to meet with him?
Meet him? We met him all the time. He was up front all the time. He wasn't the guy laid back in the closet. He was riding. He wasn't scared. His tank had his name on it. Patton.
So the folks would know it was him?
He didn't care who knew. The Germans feared him anyhow. He was a great man. He was a great man, that boy.
Talk about
The Bulge?
the
That
battle.
was big. That was one of the worst. Well, that was a big battle. You know, that's when they had the 101st Airborne Division trapped in Bastogne. And they were trapped. And they asked Montgomery how long would it take him to get there to help him out. He said about 5 days. So they said to Patton, how long would it take you to get up there, George? He says, give me the gas, I'll be there in a couple of days. He was there in 3 days. He broke them boys up a little bit. Because when he goes someplace, he looking for trouble. So he got there in 3 days. There was 3 of us home. 2 guys were shot up pretty bad. They were friends of mine. And I was the only one that wasn't shot. I only got hit a little shrapnel once, that's it. With all the stuff I was through. I had guys shot down both sides of me, though.
Where did that happen?
Right up in the bulge there. And yep. And that's where my pants got blown off me, too. I never even knew that. The captain said, what happened to your pants? And I said, well, I don't know. I was in the foxhole yet, too.
How did that happen?
The goddamn artillery shell, that's what it was. It come down there. I lived in the woods all my life. All the time was there. But we were up on that hill, you know, supposed to go help them guys. And one night the German chaplain came down with a white flag, him and a soldier, and they asked our colonel to surrender. He said, we're not surrendering. But the next morning we shag ass out of there. Because we knew they were going to show us at that hill. But you see, they had 101st. So the big deal there, the Germans had to stop them tanks. So the Germans were making the last drive, and of course with their tanks. If they could push their tanks through, they'd give you hell. But once the airplanes came up and hit all them planes on Christmas morning, that was the end of that town. And we knew it was going bad too, because we used to get some Germans every once in a while. little guys, and we knew they were Air Corps, and they would say, you know, the war's about over. We don't have no gas. We can't fly. See, we had no more trouble with their planes. Of course, they had good planes. That Messerschmitt they had was a beautiful plane. In fact, our P-51 was designed after that Messerschmitt. And they had one of the better guns, too. The 88, that baby was great. And their tanks were great. They had better tanks and everything. You see, they were preparing for war. We weren't. You know, the best part, these foxholes we were in belonged to the Germans. You see, the Germans had them foxholes. But what happened, the 28th Infantry Division pushed them out and pushed them up the hill. Then they trapped the 28th. So we went up there to sort of help them. There was a big stink about that. We should have been up there. Sending engineers up there as infantry to help get the 28th out. Of course, they lost almost all of one of our companies. And they just threw them Germans on and took them holes. They were nice holes, about that deep. Logs on, dirt on top, and just like a little doghouse, you're jumping in there. And one guy used to stay on his knees, because we could watch the Germans up on the hill. We were on a downslope, they were on the hill. And you couldn't shoot at them, because they were walking the 28th Division back and forth, you know, try to discourage you. In fact, one night, we were there 7 days, which never should have been. We had no food either. And you know what we had for water? The snow. That's how you live. We went to 1st Infantry up there too. And they were you see, the 1st Army was spearheading. In fact, the Germans were bypassing us. If they could have got to Paris, they could have cut us all off. They told us to put up a minefield behind them in case they had to get pushed off. We could, get them out, because we had a 15-foot opening every so far. And we had to stay with that minefield. In case they got pushed out, we'd be able to get them out. Otherwise, they'd hit them booby traps. They would never come through that, boy. We used to get rabbits, fox, deers, everything else in there. During the Bulge, when they had the last battle, it snowed from Thanksgiving Day to Christmas morning. That's when the Germans were trying to push through. Then the airplanes came up and they caught all them tanks on the road. And you want to see them tanks trying to get away? Then you see them guys, old Germans, trying to hang on them tanks, all burnt up and stuff. I seen a lot of dead people, boy. And they were dropping mines off too all the time. We had to move all them mines too. Snow. You see all the pictures in there. They're all every one of them pictures in there. That snow is all German. That's toward the end. And you know, we used to have to worry about that snow. Like when we had that minefield behind that 1st Division, had all these pine trees. You know, we had this booby trap minefield. 3 rows of the strings like this. You put them in 3 rows, so you ain't walking through there, and it's only that high from the ground. And you can't walk through there. And then you had to worry about the snow falling off them trees and hitting them wires. Because that snow hit them wires, you in trouble. And we used to have to go up there and check it every morning to make sure nobody went through. One day we go up there and we thought somebody was going through, because we could see the blood tracking. And this old German forest ranger, he was in charge of that forest. He used to go up with us. We used to pick him up on the way up. And as soon as he got up there, he heard it. He said, "Whoa, don't go no further." He said, "That's a wild boar." He said, "They got teeth like that." That thing was almost as long as this damn couch. So we picked it up, and he shot it. The German, he just carried it down. We little young. He shot him, and we got it for him, put it on a truck. We dropped it off in his house on the way back. Then me and this old rebel, we used to go up and have some pork. Yep, there for a long time. You want to see, that was a Hurricane Forest. That was all pine trees. I don't think there was a tree in there had a top from the shells. And I always thought it was safe in the Hurricane Forest. It was safe hell. And them Germans every night at 12 o'clock at night would shell us. So we didn't even try to get no sleep. So as soon as they started to shell us, well, we jumped in them old foxhole and stayed there.